The number of ways we can arrange the letter of the word UNILORIN is 8 factorial over 2 factorial times 2 factorial. This is how many times we can arrange the word UNILORIN.
Hello, I am Flash Isaac, and today I'll be taking you through UNILORIN Mathematics Post-UTME past questions and answers. I'll solve the UNILORIN Mathematics questions and I'll tell you what to do in case you come across similar questions. Feel free to subscribe to this channel to get updates on my new videos.
Let's take a look at this first set of questions. The first one says, in how many ways can the letters in the word UNILORIN be arranged? The first thing that comes to mind is, how many letters do we have in UNILORIN? It is simply 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 letters in the word UNILORIN, so which is 8 factorial. Now the question we'll ask is any letter repeated? Because the answer will be 8 factorial if and only if no letter is repeated. Now looking at this word, we have the U is not repeated, so we do nothing. N, we have N, 1, 2. So 2n, so we put it under 2 factorial. We check for I, yes, I is repeated, 1, 1, so 2 factorial. L is not repeated, O is not repeated, R is not repeated. So the number of ways we can arrange the letter of the word UNILORIN is 8 factorial over 2 factorial times 2 factorial. This is how many times we can arrange the word UNILORIN. The second question says, if 7k is equals 3k plus 20, what is the value of k? Solving this, we simply collect like terms. So this has k, there's no k here. So we take this here. So 7k is positive here. Crossing the equality sign, it becomes negative. So this becomes minus 3k here equals 20. 7k minus 3k is 4k. 4k will give you 20. So if 4k is equals 20, k will be 20 divided by 4. So which will give you 10 over 2, which is equals 5. So k is equals 5. And this is the correct option. This is the correct option. Solve the simultaneous equation. S plus y is equals 10 and s square plus y square is equals 58. So this simultaneous equation is simply an equation with one linear, one quadratic. This is linear and this is quadratic. Quadratic equation is simply an equation whose with highest power of 2. So when you have an equation with power of 2 as the highest power, it is a quadratic equation. Given this type of equation, we solve it using substitution method. Now how do we do that? Let's call this equation 1 and let's call this equation 2. If this is equation 1, we can say that from equation 1, s is equals 10 minus y. So making s subject formula in equation 1, we have that s is equals 10. This y comes this way to give you minus y. So we can call this our equation 3. If that's the equation 3, the next thing we do is substitute 10 minus y for s in equation 2. So where there is s in equation 2, we simply put 10 minus y because we found from equation 1 that s is equals 10 minus y. Therefore, s squared becomes 10 minus y squared plus y squared is equals 58. 10 minus y all squared is the same thing as 10 minus y plus y squared is equals 58. Opening up this bracket, 10 times 10 would give you 100. So this is 100. 10 times minus y would give you minus 10y. Minus y times 10 will give you minus 10y. Minus y times minus y would give you plus y squared. This is because minus times minus is plus, and y times y will give you y squared. Plus the y squared we already have is equals 580. So now, 100 minus 10y minus 10y would give you minus 20y. You are owing 10, you borrowed another 10. So that is minus 20y plus y squared plus y squared. So we are now having 2y squared. So 2y squared is equals 58. Remember that y squared times y squared is equals y raised to the power of 4. We add the power. But y squared plus y squared is equals 2y squared. Y cubed plus y squared is equals, they can't add, they have to be the same power. Plus y cubed is equals 2y cubed. But y cubed plus times y cubed is equals y raised to the power of 6. Take note of that. Now, from this, we can notice that this is beginning to give us a quadratic equation. But we need to arrange it in standard form to have 100 minus 20y plus 2y squared is equals 0. So if that is equals 0, it therefore means that here will be 100 minus 58. 58 crosses to give us 0 there. 100 minus 58 will simply give you 42. 42 minus 20y plus 2y squared is equals 0. Rearranging, we have 2y squared minus 20y plus 42 is equals 0. Now, take a look at it. We can divide everything by 2. If we say here divide by 2, here divide by 2, here divide by 2, and here divide by 2, this cancels. This gives us y squared minus 10y plus 21 is equals 0. And following the normal standard of solving quadratic equation, we look for two numbers that when we multiply, we get 21. And when we add, we get minus 10y or minus 10. So looking at this, if you say 7 and 3, so we bring in the numbers y squared minus 7y minus 3y plus 21 is equals 0. We've actually not done anything because minus 7y minus 3y is the same thing as minus 10y. So the next thing we do is mark these 2 and mark these 2. We factorize them. Factorizing this, here and here has y in common. So we pick one y. Y squared divided by y will remain y minus 7y divided by y. Y cancels y, you have 7 left. Then here, what do they have in common? They have minus 3 in common, minus 3. So minus 3 divided by minus 3y divided by minus 3 would give you y. Plus 21 divided by minus 3 would give you minus 7. So we can see that here and here are similar and here is remaining. So this is y minus 3 and y minus 7 is equals 0. So that implies that y minus 3 is equals 0 or y minus 7 is equals 0. Making y subject formula here, y is equals 0 plus 3 equals 3, or y is equals 0 plus 7, which is equals 7. So we found the two values for y. Now, how do we get the value for s? Recall from equation 3 that s is equals 10 minus y. So when y is equals 3, s is equals 10 minus 3 equals 7. When y is equals 7, y is equals 10 minus 7, which is equals 3. So the answer to this question is y is equals 3, comma, y is equals 3, s is equals 7, or y is equals 7, s is equals 3. So that is the option. So you look for the correct option and choose. That's how to solve simultaneous equation. One linear, one quadratic. Impressive?
So normally you'll be given quadratic equation and asked to look for the roots. Now you are given the roots and asked to derive the quadratic equation. So quadratic equation is simply s squared minus sum of roots times s plus product of roots is equals 0. So this is quadratic equation for you. S squared minus sum of roots times s plus product of roots. Now the roots are minus 3 and minus 2. Substituting s squared minus sum of roots is adding the roots. So we have minus 3 plus minus 2s plus product of roots simply means multiplying the roots. Or that's minus 3 times minus 2 equals 0.
If dy ds is equals and y is equals 7 when s is equals 2. So find y. What this is telling us is that this dy ds means we've differentiated y. If you differentiate y, you get dy ds, which is this. So to recover y from this, we do the opposite. So the opposite of differentiation is integration. If we've differentiated y to get this, we have to recover the y by integrating. So integrating here and here, if we integrate dy ds, or we integrate this with respect to ds, so integration of dy ds would give us y. So which is equals, integrating 6s squared is simply 6s, we add 1 to the power, 2 plus 1, then divide by the power. That's how to integrate. Plus 15s raised to the power of 4, we add 1 to the power, plus 1. Then we divide by the power, 4 plus 1. Now, during differentiation, a constant is lost, because when you differentiate constant, like 2, 3, 4, you get 0. So integrating, we put constant to know what was lost during differentiation. So now this will give us y is equals 6s raised to the power of 3 over 3 plus 15s raised to the power of 5 over 5 plus constant. So don't fail to add constant when you are integrating if it's not a definite integral. Now given this, y is simply 6 divided by 3 is 2. So we have 2s raised to the power of 3 plus 15 divided by 5 is 3. 3s raised to the power of 5 plus 6. C. So now, they've given us y as 7 and s as 2. This is to enable us find the integration constant. So if you substitute y as 7 here and s as 2, plus 6, so 7 will simply be 8 times 2, 16 plus 32 times 3. 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9. So 96 plus c. 7 is equals 96 plus 16. This will give you 12. Take 1. 10 plus 12. Take 1. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 plus 1 is 11. So we have 112 plus c. So c is simply 7 minus 112. So if you have minus 7, 7 minus 2 cannot, it can't go. So we borrow 1 and add to this to make it 12. 7 minus 12 should give you 5. So now you've removed 1 from here, it's remaining 10. So 10. So C is equals minus 105. This is the value of our integration constant. Now we rewrite this equation and put this value of C. Y becomes 2s raised to the power 3 plus 3s raised to the power 5 minus 105. So this is the value of y. So we've solved this question. Solve the inequality 3m plus 3 greater than 9. So if 3m plus 3 is greater than 9, collecting like terms, it simply means 3m is greater than 9 minus 3. This implies that 3m is greater than 6. So dividing both sides by 3, m becomes greater than 2. So the answer is m greater than 2, which should give you option A. Now this question, the second question there says the range of data is, so we are asked to find the range of this data. Range is simply biggest minus smallest. That's how to find range. So the difference between the highest and the lowest value. So now let's see these numbers. Let's rearrange it in ascending order from smaller to bigger. Looking at this number, this is k plus 2. The biggest should be k plus 6. K plus 6. Now, this is k minus 1, k plus 2, k plus 4. So it should be followed by k plus 4. So we've treated this, we've treated this. Then it should be followed by k plus 2. We've treated this. Now we are having k minus 3, k minus 2, and k minus 5. So the remaining values are negative values. K minus 1 and k minus 5, which do you think is bigger? Let's do it this way. Let k be 10. If k is 10, 10 minus 5 will give you 5, and 10 minus 1 will give you 9. So this implies that 10 minus 1 is bigger than 10 minus 5. So k minus 1 is bigger than k minus 5. So this should be followed by k minus 1, then followed by k minus 2, followed by k minus 3, followed by k minus 5. So this is the smallest number and this is the biggest number. And range is simply the biggest minus the smallest. So this implies that we have k plus 6 minus k minus 5. So this will give you k plus 6. This minus would have to open this bracket. So you have to be careful how you solve something like this. Don't just subtract directly. You get the wrong answer. So this is subtracting this. So k times minus times k will give you minus k. Minus times minus would give you plus. So plus 5. So a k minus k will give you 0. So this will go. 6 plus 5 should give you 11. So the range is actually 11, which is option B. This next question says 8% of a certain sum is 320 naira. What is 10% of the sum? 8% is simply 8 over 100. So 8 over 100 of 3 of a sum which you don't know of S is equals 320. So what is 10% of the sum? The first thing we have to do is to find the sum. We know that 8% of the sum is 320. So 8 over 100 is the same thing as 4 over 50 of S is equals 320. So now having this, this should give you S is equals 160 times 25, because this divided by 2 would give you 160 and this will give you 4,000. So the sum is 4,000. 8% of the sum is 320. So therefore we've solved for the sum. The sum is 4,000. Now the question is requesting for 10% of the sum. 10% of the sum is simply 10 over 100 times the sum, which is 4,000. In this case, this 2 0 already cancels these two. We have 40 times 10 to be 400. So 10% of the sum is 400, and that should give you option A as the answer. Now this question says, workers employed in UNILORIN construction company are carpenters, 24 carpenters, 27 laborers, 12 plumbers, 15 plasters, 3 managers, 18 bricklayers, and 9 suppliers. This is a 2-in-1 question. So the first question from this area says, if one of the workers is absent on a certain day, what is the probability that it is a bricklayer? Then in the next question, it says that if a worker is retrenched, what is the probability that it is a plumber or a plaster? And these are the options. When you see a question like this, the first thing we do is calculate the total workers in the construction company. So having carpenters 24, laborers 27, and so on, total workers is equal to 24 plus 27 plus 12 plus 15 plus 3 plus 18 plus 9, which will give you 108 workers. So we have 108 workers in the construction company. Now, the probability that a worker absent is a bricklayer is simply the numbers of bricklayers in the company divided by the total number of workers. According to this data, we have 18 bricklayers. So 18 bricklayers over 108 over the total workers will give you 1 over 6. So this is the probability of bricklayers in the company. So the chance or the probability that the worker absent is a bricklayer is simply 18 over 108, which is 1 over 6. And the next question says, if a worker is retrenched, what is the probability that it is a plumber or a plaster? Plumber or a plaster. In probability, when you are using or when you need just one result, we add. And when you are using and, or you need the two results, we multiply. So if it were probability of plumber and plaster, we simply multiply. But in this case, they are saying either plumber or plaster. So probability of plumber or plaster is simply probability of plumber plus probability of plaster. So the probability of plumber is simply the number of plumbers, which is 12, over the total number of workers, plus plaster, the number of plasters, 15, over the total number of workers, which is 108. So adding this, the LCM is simply 108. 12 plus 15 will give you 27. So adding this, it should arrive at 1 over 4. So the probability that a plumber or plaster is retrenched is simply 1 over 4. This question says, which of the following numbers is a perfect cube? What is a perfect cube? A perfect cube simply means once you find the cube root of the number, it will give you a whole number. Looking for the cube root of this, you won't get a whole number. Cube root of this won't give you a whole number either. Cube root of this won't give you a whole number. But cube root of 1728 is 12. So 12 times 12 is 1728. So this is a perfect cube. The next question says, find the slope of the line perpendicular to this line. So this line is 3s plus 5y plus 17 is equals 0. Now the standard form for equation of line is y is equals ms plus c, where m is slope and c is intercept. So to putting this in this form, let's make y a subject formula. We can start by saying 5y is equals minus 3s minus 17. Y is equals minus 3 over 5s minus 17 over 5. So we've made this to be in standard form. So this is y. Here is equivalent to m. And this is s. This is c. So c is equals minus 17 over 5. M is equals minus 13 over 5. Minus 3 over 5. Now we've gotten the slope of this line. However, this is not the slope we are looking for. We are asked to look for the slope of the line that is perpendicular. For perpendicularity or orthogonality, m1, m2 is equals minus 1. So this implies that if you multiply this slope with the slope of the second line, we will get minus 1. So where m2 is the slope of the line that is perpendicular to that line. Substituting, minus 3 over 5 m2 is equals minus 1. Minus 3 m2 is equals 5 times minus 1, which is minus 5. m2 will give you minus 5 over minus 3, which is equals 5 over 3. So the slope of the line that is perpendicular is simply 5 over 3. The next question says, find the difference between the mean and median of the numbers. So first of all, let's look for what is the median. Give me the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 10 numbers here. So median is simply the middle number after arranging the number in ascending or descending order. So this number is already arranged 1 to 10. So we look for the middle number 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have two numbers at the middle. To look for median, we look for the average. So 5 plus 6 over 2 is the median, which is 11 over 2. Now let's look for the mean. The mean is simply adding everything here and dividing by 10. So if we add this and this will give you 3. 3 plus 3 will give you 6. 6 plus 4, 10. Plus 5, 15. Plus 6, 21. Plus 7, 28. So we have 28 already. Then 10 plus 9 will give you 19. Plus 8, 27. So 27 plus 28. 8 plus 7 would give you 15. Put down 5, carry 1. 2 plus 2 will give you 4. Plus 1, 5. So everything here is 55. So the mean is 55 over 10. So we are asked for the difference between the mean and median. Median, mean. So the difference is simply 55 over 10 minus 11 over 2. And the LCM is 10. So this will give you 55 minus 55. So this will give you 0 over 10, which is equals 0. So the differences between them is 0. So that will be option that has 0. Okay, that should be A. So let's look at the next question. It says, what is the seventh term of the sequence? This is the sequence. 1 plus minus 1 raised to the power of n. Now, this is the formula for nth term of the sequence. The seventh term simply means putting 7 for n, because n stands for number of terms. So this will give you 1 plus minus 1 raised to the power of 7. This will give you 1 plus minus 1 raised to the power of 7 is minus 1. So minus times plus will give you minus. So this is 1 minus 1 and the answer is 0. So second time we're having option 0 as the answer. Okay, that should be the last question. It says a pentagon has 4 of its angle equal. Pentagon has 5 sides and 5 angles. So it says 4 of the angles are equal and the 5th one is 60 degrees. So the 5th angle is 60 degrees, then the other 4 are equal. So let's say if one of them is S, the other 4 are equal. That means they are, let's call them 4S. They are equal. It said, what is the size of each of the 4 equal angles? So we already know that the 5th angle is 60 degrees. The other 4 angles that are equal, what is their size? And remember that the sum of interior angle of pentagon or polygon is n minus 2, 180. Now, the number of sides is 5 minus 2, 180. Because n is 5 for pentagon. This will give you 3 times 180, which is equals 540 degrees. So the 5 angles is equals 540 degrees. This is the angle of the polygon. And if this is 540 degrees, which is the 5 angles, we are told that one of the angles is 60 degrees. Now let's subtract this 60 degree we already know from the remaining angle. Subtracting 360 from this, 540 minus 60 degrees should give you 480. So now, this is the sum of the remaining 4 angles. To know what each of the angles are, we'll divide by 4, since this one is for 4 equal angles. 480 divided by 4 is simply 120. So one angle is 120 and the 5th one is 60 degrees. So if log 81 with base s is equals 4, find s. Logarithm is how many times you multiply a particular number to get another number. So log 81 with base s, it simply means we multiply this value 4 times to get 81. So what can you multiply 4 times to give you 81? You can use that method to solve it, to say, okay, something that you can multiply 3 times, 4 times to get 81. Something times something times something times something, which will be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. If you multiply 3 4 times, you get 81. So that means log 81 with base 3 is equals 4. 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 is 81. Another way you can do this is log 81 with base s equals 4. It simply means s raised to the power of 4 is equals 81. And s is equals, you find the 4th root of 81. The 4th root of 81 is 3. So anyway you solve it, the answer is 3. The area of a circle is 154 cm square. Find its circumference. Circumference is simply 2 pi r. Area of a circle is pi r square. So area is equals 154 equals pi r square. R square is equals 154 over 22 over 7, which is the same thing as 154 times 7 over 22. R is square root of 154 times 7 over 22. So this is the radius. Now that we have the value for radius, we have everything we need to solve for circumference, which is 2 times 22 over 7 times radius, which is 154 times 7 over 22. So circumference, this will give you 2 times 22 over 7 times 7. Square root of 154 times 7 over 22 will give you 7. So 7 cancels 7. So this will give you 44. So circumference is equals 44 cm. So your answer is D. Let's start with B prime. B prime means what is in universal set that is not in B. So what is in universal set that is not in B is simply 1, 2. 2 is in B, so we skip 2. 3. 3 is not in B, so we add 3. 4. 4 is in B, so we skip it. 5. 5 is not in B, we add it. 6. 6 is in B. So this is B prime. What is in the universal set that is not in B? Now that we have B prime, A intersection B prime is simply what we have in A and that is also present in B prime. So let's check what is present in both A and B prime. This is A. 1 is present in A and is present in B prime. So we put 1, comma. 2. 2 is present in A but it's not present in B prime. So we skip 2. 3. 3 is present in A and 3 is present in B prime. So we have 3. So A intersection B prime is 1, 3. So which is option B. So that's that for UNILORIN Post-UTME questions and answers under mathematics.